Madam Deputy Speaker, our plan to make work pay will also protect working people. I know that the party opposite are deeply interested in our plans here. So they should rest easy, knowing that our plan will protect working people from unfair dismissal. It will safeguard them from bullying in the workplace. It is right that we protect those who have worked all their lives. In our manifesto, we promise to transfer the Investment Reserve Fund in the Mine Workers Pension Scheme to members.
Rachel Reeves just complained her $86,000 salary left her financially shot. Meanwhile, millions of Brits struggle to make ends meet. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. We're diving into the Labour Party's economic disconnect. From welfare U-turns to housing plan failures, we'll show you why Reeves faced Neil's tough questions and why her answers led to an unexpected exit. Labour's pre-election promises painted a rosy picture of economic stability. They assured voters their spending plans were fully costed, requiring only minor tax tweaks like VAT on school fees. Rachel Reeves, then Shadow Chancellor, confidently declared Labour's fiscal responsibility, but barely weeks into office, Reeves dropped a bombshell, a $22 billion black hole in the nation's finances.
So you admit that this increase could hit workers' pay?
I absolutely accept that wage growth may be weaker than it otherwise would have been. I think it was a difficult decision. The hardest decision in the budget yesterday was on national insurance. I wanted yesterday to get everything out into the open and be transparent about the decisions that I needed to make. I'm not going to be coming back with a budget like this in the future.
This sudden revelation raised eyebrows. How could Labour, a party that prided itself on economic competence, miss such a massive deficit? The Institute for Fiscal Studies had warned of a tight fiscal position, but nothing of this magnitude. Andrew Neil, never one to mince words, described the situation as eye-wateringly tight, yet Reeves's announcement suggested something far more dire. So what's the truth behind this $22 billion figure? Economic experts have struggled to reconcile Reeves's claims with available data. The Office for Budget Responsibility's forecasts, while challenging, didn't indicate such a severe shortfall. This discrepancy has fueled speculation about Reeves's motives. Was this a genuine discovery or a political maneuver to manage expectations?
Tell you what a lot of people, because you're reluctant to say what Charlie Faulkner thinks you think, and that is, you're reluctant because a large part of the Labour membership still worships Jeremy Corbyn.
I worked well with him. He actually led us through some really difficult times. I had disputes with Jeremy, things I didn't agree with him on, and we either had it out around the shadow cabinet table, or on occasion I went to his constituency office and we had a discussion there.
You cannot plan the future without understanding the past, and if you have nothing bad to say about Mr. Corbyn's leadership now, why did you take part in the attempt to topple him as leader in 2016?
The timing of Reeves's announcement is particularly suspect. Coming so soon after Labour's victory, it conveniently provides cover for potential policy shifts. It's a classic political move. Blame the previous administration for hidden problems, then use that as justification for breaking campaign promises. But this strategy carries risks. Labour's credibility on economic matters, already fragile, now hangs by a thread. Voters who trusted Labour's pre-election assurances feel betrayed. The party that promised fiscal prudence now appears either incompetent or dishonest. Neither a good look for a new government.
It was a difficult decision that I had to make yesterday. It's not the decision that I wanted to make. It's not the decision that I expected to make. And there was a £22 billion black hole between what the previous government had said they were going to spend and what they were actually spending. And what happened when that previous government made commitments it could not afford, it put pensions in peril, and it sent mortgage rates and rents through the roof.
The implications of this black hole extend beyond mere numbers. It's shaken public confidence in Labour's economic strategy and raised questions about their ability to govern effectively. As we'll see, this is just the beginning of Labour's policy troubles. From welfare cuts to pensioner benefits, Reeves's words and actions are increasingly at odds. And as public trust erodes, Labour's economic house of cards threatens to collapse. If actions speak louder than words, Rachel Reeves is screaming contradictions. Her pre-election tough talk on benefits has vanished faster than campaign promises. But as Andrew Neil discovered, confronting Reeves about these reversals led to an unexpected on-air moment that left viewers stunned. Remember when Rachel Reeves proudly strutted her fiscal hawkishness? She once boasted about her commitment to slashing welfare benefits, including those for pensioners. Reeves painted herself as the champion of tough love economics, ready to make the hard choices for Britain's financial future. But oh, how quickly the tune changes when power is within grasp. Now that Labour's in office, Reeves' stance on benefits has undergone a metamorphosis so dramatic it would make even the most accomplished shapeshifter blush. The woman who once couldn't wait to wield the budget axe now sings a softer, gentler song about social spending. It's a U-turn so sharp it's left voters with whiplash. This stark contrast between Reeves' words and actions hasn't gone unnoticed. Andrew Neil, ever the political bloodhound, sniffed out these contradictions and went for the jugular. In a series of blistering confrontations, Neil laid bare the chasm between Reeves' past promises and present policies. He pointed out that her tenure as Chancellor has been marked by delays, confusion, and a distinct lack of clarity. Reeves squirmed under Neil's spotlight as he compared her current approach to inflation and economic concerns with her previous hardline statements. But it's not just Neil who's noticed. The British public, it seems, isn't buying what Reeves is selling anymore. Polls show a dramatic shift in sentiment towards Labour's economic competence. Voters are cottoning onto the lack of coordination and consistency in the party's leadership. The trust that Labour worked so hard to build is eroding faster than a sandcastle at high tide. This policy ping-pong hasn't just dented Reeves' personal credibility, it's become a focal point for wider criticism of Labour's economic strategy. How can voters trust a party whose shadow chancellor turned chancellor can't even stand by her own words? It's a question that's haunting Labour, and one that threatens to unravel their entire economic narrative. As we watch this political drama unfold, one thing becomes clear. Labour's economic house of cards is looking shakier by the day. From black holes to broken promises, the cracks are starting to show. And as we'll see, these policy failures are just the beginning of a leadership crisis that could reshape British politics for years to come. Rachel Reeves' resignation marks the collapse of Labour's economic strategy. Her sudden exit following Andrew Neil's confrontation leaves the party scrambling to salvage its credibility. The 22 billion black hole, policy U-turns, and broken promises have eroded public trust faster than a beach in a storm. Labour now faces a leadership crisis that goes beyond Reeves. The party's economic narrative lies in tatters, with potential replacements like Ed Miliband or Annalise Dodds facing an uphill battle to rebuild confidence. Can they craft a coherent economic vision that resonates with voters and stands up to scrutiny? The road ahead for Labour looks rocky. Regaining public trust on economic matters will require more than just a change in personnel. It demands a fundamental shift in approach, transparency, and consistency. Without these, Labour risks being seen as economically incompetent for years to come. The question remains, can they pull off this economic rehabilitation, or will voters continue to see them as fiscally unreliable?